A black and orange flag, a baffling number of formation laps, and perhaps an argument against reverse grids. What did happen during the Miami round of the 2025 F1 Academy season? Starting with race 1, there were some positive performances. Firstly, there were the usual suspects such as Pan, Vergen, Chambers, and Palmowski was on the podium. But the driver who made up the most amount of positions was actually Gazeman, which actually really surprised me because we barely saw her during the broadcast. And then there were two drivers who had clearly made some improvements from previous races, but at the same time, it definitely wasn't their best race. With Nobles, she started and finished in P6, but throughout the race, she had really pushed herself. In fact, at one point, it looked like she might have gotten P2. And then with Thalbermeyer, I was really excited for her because the reverse grid meant that yet again, she was going to be starting on pole, but this time, she really fought to keep that position from Pan. However, after a couple of laps, Pan did take it, and then she locked up on lap 5 going into turn 1, which meant that she quickly dropped from P3 to P6. And worse still, when she locked up, she ended up getting some damage, which meant that she was shown the black and orange flag. And that wasn't the only flag she was shown during the race. She also got a black and white one for changing directions more than once. And then we get to the drivers who just outright didn't have a great race. And that includes Lloyd, who ended up DNFing on lap 1. And that's because she saw a rather tight gap between Ferrero and Block going into turn 1, which gave her a 3-place grid penalty for the following race. Speaking of Block, she got a 5-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage when she was battling it out with Houseman. It was also a rough race for Chong and Chiconte, which is a real shame because both drivers seem to have potential. In this race, Chong, Havada and Chiconte all went into a corner at the same time, and as we know by now, 3 into 1 rarely ever works. So Chong tagged Chiconte, which led to both drivers retiring mid-race. Finally, I'm starting to notice that regardless of whether it's a reverse grid or not, when it comes to this season in F1 Academy, very similar people are ending up on the podium. On one hand, it's great that the reverse grid is highlighting the talents of said drivers. On the other hand, I don't think it has been that impactful for the other 75% of the grid. Moving on to race 2, it seemed like the drivers were completing 500 formation laps, but it looked like it was a torrential downpour. I did appreciate that they were trying to get the race going, but I think it was pretty obvious that that just wasn't going to happen. And so the race has been postponed like it was in Qatar last year. So where does that leave us with the championship? Well, here is how the Drivers' Championship is looking. Whilst Chambers' fortunes could change, it does look like, as of right now, it will be Pan or Verg who will win. And looking at the team championship, Campos Racing are once again firmly in the lead. Although MP Motorsport need to watch themselves because Prema are getting pretty close to them for P2.